Hello everyone and welcome to Sumatra RX. We're going to be doing our, Goose Rallycross week for the season. I tripped over that intro a little bit because still kind of thinking of something else in my head. So this was going to be the H3 terrain weekend. Hyping that up last week and went through some of the tracks for that, which we kind of got around to a little late here. And honestly, I think the best ones that we did for that were the TRS ones that we already have used, and we already did like the TRS week as we go through Sumatra here. So decided to switch it up, and we do have a we have the TRS week for terrain, and then we have the Hog RX week to end out the entire season with Hogabilis. So now went through and added in Sumatra here for a Goose RX week in the season to kind of even things out. But yeah, went through those tracks, and there was some that were okay, but they were a little. You could tell that they're very old. You could tell that they're very old. I thought this track would probably put on better racing, and we'll see how that goes today. But this is a rallycross, and we are having jokers. Should clarify that because like for the GP races, people were wondering like, oh, are we doing pits or not? We didn't do pits. Are still doing jokers for the rallycross races. For this one, no jokers on the first lap, but we are allowing jokers on the last lap. And you have to take 2 in the race, and this is the joker right here. So the normal line, you come through this section and just rip through. It's a long joker. You have to take this right, loop it around, and then get back going in the racing line. That's the joker line. Over here to this uphill hairpin into a downhill, neck camber, and then we run it through finish lines right here, and we're starting past it. Well, rather, finish line's right there. I just kind of think of it with that structure. But yeah, right here, starting right here. So, very clearly marked finish line. There you go. Okay, so did the heat races for this one. No qualifying or any extra fancy stuff for this one. Just a typical race format night. So nothing too crazy here, aside from the jokers. That would be the one thing. And let's go through the order from right to left. So your heat winners, as you can see, was Slaunch and Roman taking the heats for this one. And then we have Detail and Soul, Elite and Luke, Hunter, Camby, Fireball, Real Deal, Opix, and Armada. Wow. All right. So there's the lineup, and we're doing 18, double checking. Yep, 18 laps. 18 laps, 2 motos for this one. And we had to do a time start, no grenade in this one. So the time for the start is approaching here. Gonna see everybody rip off the line once it hits, hitting very shortly for this 18 lap race. Again, 2 jokers for everyone. Green flag. And multiple drivers getting cheesed wide already on the start. Not too surprised at that. This is one of the trickiest sections on the track. Big slow ups on the inside. Wow, some massive runs coming from the back. Oh, Hunter's stuck. Hunter's around. It's downhill here. Massive speed you can pick up as well. This track does have quite a bit of flow to it with those uphill and downhill sections. There's a lot of like constant elevation change on this one. You can carry a lot of momentum. And for anybody that's raced on Reach, you know that like making moves and making time is all about taking advantage of that momentum. You gotta be very, wow, Fireball's super aggressive right there. You gotta be very careful on this one though, because you can have massive runs in these downhills that the track sets you up for. But they're also very easy to make mistakes on. And if those happen, it's gonna be brutal. Oh! Well, there we already have one. Let's get the replay action on this one. Slaunch going super wide, trying to hold on to it out of the initial chicane action, and this is a tricky section right here. We do have this tree obstacle in the middle of Mao, but there is a bit of a split line here. You can go left or right. The problem is this inside's very tight. So yeah, technically it looks like the barrier's there, but it's not. There's a bit of an invisible wall. And you can see Luke trying to make it happen and Slaunch on the theater, not side by side, but clearly in the race side by side. Flies off. Going down hard early on. Luke casing the jump as well. Slaunch going to rejoin. Oh, that extra rock bump really... Wow, that's brutal. The rejoin honestly looked like it was going to be fine. I don't even know how Opex flipped at the end there. Well, that looked weird too. But the rejoin looked like it was going to be fine, but there was a bit of a rock bump on the exit, and that actually flipped him over an extra time. That's brutal, because that, for how bad of a flip it was in the downhill, it looked like it wasn't going to be that bad, but then that extra bump really costed him. Hunter going down here too. Yeah, name of the game on this track, and I mean, well, Reach in general, all about the momentum. And as you can see, you can carry quite a bit on this track. That that crash was absolutely brutal on that downhill initially. And look at the momentum here. Roman not getting to the chicane proper. Soul with a bunch around the outside, but he's going to have to go around the outside, and it is slower. So Soul not able to make the pass on Roman, but he was able to make the pass on Detail. Detail is trying to get by Roman there, but Roman struggling with that chicane. Luke at the big run down hill here. Going to try to go side by side with Detail. Soul trying to work the position on Roman. We have some pretty good battling for the lead positions here early on. Let's see if any of them go for some early jokers here either. Well, there you go. Promise I didn't predict that. Roman going for the early joker. Rather, I had no idea that was coming. But Roman hitting the early one there. Probably just seeing a lot of battle action and just wanting to be out of it, thinking he could get some clean air, and he does get some clean air. Yeah, key sections of the track. That sandbag initial chicane, see Luke carrying a lot of momentum up it. That's definitely one of the key sections of the track. That's a really easy one to mess up, and then you can hit it proper, but oh, Soul with a big mistake right there. Unfortunate. That was a really good start to his race, and he is pretty quick on this track, but yeah, unfortunate mistake there. See if he can rebound. But yeah, that sandbag chicane action, definitely one of the bigger sections, because again, really easy to make mistakes on, but also you can run it proper, but you can gain time on it. Like, even if two people run it pretty well, you can have one person run it like really good and one person run it like decent, but both of them still keep the momentum up. So you can make up a lot of time there. Luke with the mistake on the pull. Detail's gonna get a nice lead gap early on after that. The hands definitely needing a break probably after 80 hours of grinding on the finals in 1 week. Lamau, that's a joke. Pretty close though. Soul still with the gap on Roman though, even with the Joker usage out of Roman, so that's good for Soul, but he is making some mistakes here, and Roman's definitely gaining on him. That being said, it's funny that they're battling each other, because Soul and Roman last few seasons have been like that 4th place battle, and here they are literally battling for 3rd and 4th on track. Although right now, Soul kind of has that 4th place points position on lock this season, but we're looking at the stats. Roman going to take his second Joker here. We're looking at the stats, and their points per moto averages are really similar, so I have to imagine that when the mulligans come in, that Roman and Soul might actually be pretty competitive for 4th place again, which is hilarious. They can't seem to get away with each other, or from each other in that points battle recently, for whatever reason. That's Real Deal showing up tonight. Give him a shout out there in 5th place for some more Reach action. He was very close to earning a Moto win when we raced Reach way back in the beginning of the season. On Rolled Oak GP, we had that crazy race that was, still up there with, either of the Barvo Motos probably for, Moto of the season. Very crazy race. Real Deal's a big part of it. Almost taking the win there, not quite. Able to do so, but regained at Amazon later on, where he picked up a huge win for his wildcard points. Funny that we have Real Deal and Elite, who are following right here, both showing up tonight after both not showing up for a few nights recently, or at least I feel like Elite's been at a couple more than Real Deal, but I'm not sure. Yeah, they've both been on and off, and here they both are tonight, and they both still hold those wildcard positions. So for those wildcard spots in points, Elite and Real Deal both still holding those. And both here tonight, and both trying to increase that gap if they can. They may be able to increase their point gap. I don't know if they're going to be able to increase their wildcard point gap. It's going to be hard to do on this track, but, I mean, there's definitely opportunity. There's definitely opportunity. Not going to be the easiest one, though. The one where there's potential is, I'm looking ahead a little bit here, but the one where there's potential is a couple weeks ahead. That World of Outlaw night, I've had circled on the calendar the whole season. It's coming, and it's pretty soon, just a couple weeks away. That'll be a fun one to see how that mixes the season up. There goes Fireball, as Real Deal goes for a Joker there. Fireball going to go around, and Fireball making up some good time right now. I don't know what his Joker situation is, but I can just tell by watching him on track, he's definitely pretty speedy on this one, so, but maybe not the best start here. So we'll see what Fireball can do. Oh, super close. What is this? Might have been either some mistakes or some more Joker action coming in. That's Detail and Soul battling there. And Luke to the lead now. And Roman way out of sights. I want to say that they're all kind of on a similar strategy and they're all kind of staying out of the Joker as long as they can. I think that's what this top three is doing here. All on a bit of a similar strategy at the moment. Of course, Roman, we see him back there right now on quite a different one. He went for his Jokers pretty early. And they're making mistakes and kind of slowing each other down up here, so I don't know if Roman's going to have the pace to take advantage of it, but, I mean, his strategy's honestly not that bad, and wow, Detail another mistake. That sandbag chicane's really costing him in this first moto, and Soul gets around him, but Soul, hold on to it, whoa. Oh, save of the night right there, maybe. Wow, that was really close for Soul. He had so much momentum, and like I said, momentum's the name of the game on this track, and he was trying to keep it up, and he was trying to keep it going, and almost threw the race away. And this track does lend itself to a lot of moments like that, where you're trying to keep the momentum up, and you're trying to fly, run really good lap times, and you're just really close, and you're just on the edge of hitting one of these like poles or obstacles on the side, or maybe like one of the walls, and just absolutely ruining your lap and maybe your race. But you got to do that to get all the time possible. I think Fireball just passed Roman on track, and we saw him tracking Roman from like several Goose lengths behind. So Fireball is absolutely hauling right now. He's been someone that I've been looking for to pick up a moto win here or there at some point, and he hasn't quite been able to do it, but when he does show up, he's consistently been able to get some podiums here or there. And right now, he might be in contention for one Caster's Curse. Oh, that's going to hurt Roman too. And that right there is a perfect example. I was trying to make that point. Oh, Roman, the dirty block on Real Deal. Here we go. But that was the point I was trying to make earlier in the race, is that you want to keep that momentum up, and it's easy to make those mistakes, but when those mistakes are made, it often happens like right in the middle of the racing line, and you have to try to avoid it, but it's really hard to avoid it because that racing line's like what you want to be on to be as fast as possible, and if you get off it a little bit, you're risking wrecking yourself. So, basically what I'm getting at is the Joker strategy is super important on this track, I think, because making up time I don't think is difficult on this track, but making passes can be pretty difficult. Even when people make mistakes, because they're really hard to avoid on this one. They're really hard. Well, for one, everybody's going to make mistakes. The mistakes themselves are hard to avoid. But yeah, two, it's hard to avoid the literal like driver on track when they make the mistakes. Very hard to do. I don't remember what the checkpoint count is. Let's get a lap count. We're literally just hitting like just past halfway. Right now, Luke with a decent gap on Detail. Armada is a lap down right there in third. So just to clarify that, no battle going on, no crazy comeback for him. That would be kind of crazy if he just wasn't on the frame. And now he's battling for third, but no, not the case here. Soul's kind of comfortably in third at the moment. Like I said, Fireball's hauling. That mistake costed him, but I mean, looks like Soul just made another one, and Fireball's running really good lap times. I mean, there's Real Deal with another mistake. I mean, everybody, we saw the guys in the front making mistakes. Everybody's going to be making mistakes on this track. It's really hard to avoid. It's a really difficult track. I still think I like Rolled Oak the most of the ones that we've done on Reach this season, but this one a pretty solid one as well. And easily the hardest, though. I mean, Rolled Oak had some skill sections for sure, but this one's brutal, man. And the punishes when you make the mistakes are really, really catastrophic at times.
Lap complete.
So, yeah, I think we're... Yep, so Oh, there's a missed checkpoint for Luke early on. So we're actually 6 laps to go. Actually 6 laps to go here. You see, look in this position. I believe he went for a Joker that time by. So I think I want to say first Joker, maybe second one. No, I don't think so. I want to say first Joker. So Details worked a huge gap right here. And he has not taken any, I believe. Soul, not sure if Soul did his, or he was either. We'll have to wait and see. Gonna be 5 to go this time by. If I'm correct. I believe I am. I hope so. There goes Detail running another lap. Not going for any Joker action yet. I mean, look at where Fireball is. Now, I think Fireball has only taken 1, though. I think he does have another Joker to take, so Luke does still have a pretty comfortable gap on him. But that being said, I mean, the amount of time that Fireball has gained, I mean, he might be clear of when he takes his Joker on Soul already. Like, he has made up a ton of time. Speaking of making up time, here's Slaunch. He's trying to make up all that he could, or all that he can. That beginning was brutal, and he's trying his hardest here to make up as much as he can. Winning that heat race, clearly got pace on the track, and he's trying to reel in Elite here, and he's getting pretty close. That being said, if this race doesn't go to his hopes, little preview for next week. Slaunch does have another of his own tracks coming in next week, and one that I've been looking forward to on the season. We're finally going to be racing Hoglands SX. So of all those H5 remake hog tracks in the season, we've got 2 left, Hoglands and Hogabilis. Hogabilis is at the very end, so that's still going to come in May, a ways away from where we're at now. But Hoglands is literally next week, so that's very, very exciting. Checked it out after the race. Track looks great, and that'll be really fun to race. That one definitely transferred over to the Hogs and over to H2A really well, I'd say. And I'm really curious to see how it's going to race. It's so tight for being like a Hog Supercross instead of like having all that extra room that we were used to on Iron Hog. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how it races, and I think it has potential to be a freaking wild race. So that'll be a fun one to watch for sure. Oh, and I missed the end of it, but there we go. I think Detail took his first Joker right there. So going to 3 to go. 3 to go this time by, and this is the lead battle. Detail takes the lead on the Joker usage, but it is very, very close. And oh, they're so close. Here we go into this downhill. Oh, they're right on each other. It's going to be super close. Now, how do they decide to play? How do they decide to play the strategy game here? Because they both have another Joker to take, and Fireball's not that far off either. And Fireball, he has another Joker to take, but if he doesn't take it, he might play a role in this. Luke's got to run on the uphill, but he can't really do anything with it. Oh, and Detail goes for it, and I think that gets a bit of a bog on Luke right there. That was close, and that might be a really nice play out of Detail. That's going to cost Luke some time there. And when he comes around for the Joker, that might be enough to do it, unless Detail makes another mistake here.
Lap complete.
Hitting that's 2 to go. And yeah, very close, like I was saying, there's Fireball. Now, Fireball, again, he's not in this race for the lead. He does have another Joker to take, but it's incredible how close he is to them still. Clearly had some solid pace on this one. And Detail, very happy that he came out right in front of Fireball, because if he came out right behind him, that could have been the wrong strategy call. That could have, maybe cost the race if Fireball had a bad run in front of him. But it worked out really well. We'll see if Luke holds it another lap or if he goes for it here. Holds it another lap for the drama or just goes for it now. Just going to go for it now. I think Detail will pretty comfortably have this one. And Fireball's going to go in for his, so not going to have to worry about that there. But yeah, I think that the gap too, I think the bog might have made the difference. Not entirely. Because the first run for the first Joker, Detail definitely made up some time there. But on that one, I think that definitely added to this gap a little bit. That might give him enough. This is the white flag last lap around. Detail trying to take his 8th Moto win of the season. It would be a big opening win. Not too great in the heat races, but for either of these guys. But now running up front in the Moto. A lot of mistakes coming out in this one. A lot of underrated performances. I'll have to see where Fireball ended up after that Joker as well. He may still be in that podium contention. I mean, Soul seemed like he fell back a little bit, so might be on for it. Here we go. Final time. All he has to do is not spin out. And he's not going to. Detail going to take the win
Lap complete.
at Sumatra. Luke going to take second. Fireball third. Soul fourth. So yeah, Fireball does end up taking the podium. Soul fourth, Roman fifth. Solid finishes for them. Elite in sixth. Launch, seventh. Or sorry, Real Deal, my bad. Real Deal sixth. They look kind of similar from that distance. Not when close up. Elite eighth. Camby at ninth. Opix 10th. And Hunter in 11th, and Armada will end up rounding out the field in 12th as well. There you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed the first moto for Sumatra. Yeah, I mean, pretty good one. A very sloppy one. Definitely a schlop fest moto. There was a lot of moving around for people. A lot of mistakes all throughout the field. Some poles getting slapped, some rolls on the downhills. To be fair, not all of it's mistakes. Some of it's hard racing. Like, it's really hard to some of these sections, if you go into them too wide and you risk it, it's really risky, and it's really spooky. You can do it, but it's really difficult to do, and can lead to some mayhem, especially on that first lap where everybody's going to be going for as much as they can get. But yeah, pretty exciting. Moto 1 ended up being a pretty good battle for the win in those top 5 spots as well. A few people chasing down some spots at the end. So yeah, pretty fun to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we're going to go over to Moto 2, invert the field as well. See you guys there.